One of the things that was going for me was I had no choice. Yeah. Sometimes, when we have a lot of choices,
Jeez, man.
we sort of become complacent and there wasn't enough severity. And so I didn't have a choice. I had to make it because it was the dream and the vision that the Lord had given me. Why would I stop now? So that was that. Second, if I didn't cash flow and show up.
Hello. Welcome to another Knowledge Bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Kash Fadaie.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
Please help me welcome Kash with The Art of Risk-Taking.
This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
My name is Kash Fadaie. Fadaie is like Hawaii. That's what it sounds like. I was born in Iran, 1974. My family migrated out for the American dream. We went to Germany, lived there for 5 years, and moved out to the United States. I've been here 40 years, and
Wow.
I've been an entrepreneur and made it successful in the insurance business. And I've been doing that for 20 years. And so my duty of being here is to express greatness. So I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to have you on. You said entrepreneurship. So how did you actually get into entrepreneurship? How did that journey start?
My parents always wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer, and I never was interested in that. I enjoyed the idea of creating something. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was always within my heart to do so. And I just began reading a lot when I was a youngster.
Yeah.
And that inspired me. It inspired me to find a way to be a business owner. That was sort of my calling. I discovered it and I kind of went for it.
You say business owner, so what part of it? Like it was something specific or you just wanted to create? What was the thing?
I wanted to have freedom.
Wow.
I couldn't probably articulate that at the time, but I can now in retrospect.
Yeah.
I wanted to have freedom with my time. My parents, I never really saw my parents because they were sacrificing for us, me and my sister. And I always wanted to not be that way. I wanted to have freedom, to have businesses that were making me streams of income, right? And then I could do great things with that. And that was the passion for me. Is that, can I do that? Because it's being done. So why can't I do that? What will it take for me to do that? And am I willing to pay the price for greatness?
I love it. Fadaie Insurance. So like, what was the journey to that? Like, just learning along the way. What are some of those things? Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, to get to where I got with insurance, there was a culmination of processes.
Yeah.
I started my first business at 13 years old in Florida, cutting grass. I had a Briggs and Stratton motor for a lawnmower in my garage. And we used to have, in middle school, we used to have shop class. So we had this project where we would put this lawnmower back together and then get it to run. So I did that and I began cutting my neighbors' yards and I did such a good job for $20. Well, the word got out and I learned my first principles of business from that little sort of homegrown business that I did. And so that, Cedric, parlayed into several other businesses, car wash detail center, produce stands, souvenir shops in Florida, surf shops, whatnot. Then I got into real estate, selling, homes, and on the beach. And eventually that led me into the car business. And so I learned tons of things, struggle and failures and wins and sorrows and saving and all these things. And by virtue of the process of isolation, I gave insurance a try. I didn't even know what it was. I thought, it seems like I could do all right. And so I gave it a try, and it worked out really well.
Wow. So did you just go right into the insurance business? How did you get to establishing your own agency?
Beautiful question. It was 2004 in Southern California. I wanted to at least try it, right? So I went and got my license. You got to get your insurance license. So I got my insurance license in life insurance.
Yeah.
But life insurance was slow. It was like people should have it, but nobody really does. And so it was not enough traction for me, Cedric. So I said, you know what? I need to try the P&C side, the property and casualty side. So I got my second license in California and went and got a job with Allstate. And because I had experience in sales and emotional intelligence by virtue of the past two decades, I did very well. And so Allstate got a hold of me and said, hey, you ought to open up a branch, And at that time, Cedric, Katrina that had happened. There was a big hurricane.
Yeah.
I saw the writing on the wall because Allstate was then restricted to write business. So I basically prayed. And I said, well, I'd love to own my own agency, Lord. Help me. Right.
Yeah.
I really reached out to the divine.
Yeah.
Immediately after that prayer, I'd say about a week, I get this email and this opportunity where this franchisor called Brook Insurance contacts me and says, hey, we're looking for individuals like you. Would you take this test? I said, sure, but I don't got any money. I don't have anything. I just have, I have faith and I have hard work. So no, just fill it out. So I filled it out. They called me up. They said, you're a perfect fit. We want to fly you into Overland Park. We want to have a face-to-face interview. And I said, well, listen, I can't even get out to, where you are. So no, we'll fly you in. I said, great, fly me in. Sounds good. So I went over there and I signed the deal, and they gave me capital. They gave me insurance appointments. Those are called, carriers to write with. And 5-6 months later, I opened my first franchise called Brook Insurance. And I did very well. This is 2006 now. So I do well. And in 2008, there's a pivotal moment where the economy crashes. And so then Brook goes out of business. And in 2009, I'm praying again, Lord, help me. And so in 2009, we opened up Fadaie Insurance, which is where I am today after 18 years.
Wow, that's amazing. I love the fact that you just kept pushing. That's a message for somebody right now. Different obstacles that happened along the way, but you didn't give up and you didn't quit. I want to kind of talk about when you created your own agency. What are some of the difficulties that you faced in building this amazing business, and how did you overcome it? And also, I guess, as far as the risk, because we know when we're dealing with business and risk is a factor. What were some of the moments of risk taking? And just give us some examples.
One of the things that was going for me was I had no choice. Yeah. Sometimes, when we have a lot of choices,
Jeez, man,
we sort of become complacent. And there wasn't enough severity. And so I didn't have a choice. I had to make it because it was the dream and the vision that the Lord had given me. Why would I stop now? So that was that. Second, if I didn't cash flow and show up, that would be it. I would lose the opportunity and I would be basically on the streets. I had no other choice. So it was all or nothing. And that worked out for me because that provoked me to really bring everything that I have and put it all on the line. Nature loves courage. And I had to dig deep to get that courage. Yeah. And so that what was going for me, Cedric. So I was relentless. I slept in my office. I didn't want to spend extra money on leasing some other place where I could just go to Gold's Gym and clean up, get back to the office and work leads at 3, 4 in the morning to be ahead of my competition. So that was like an example, that caused me to be more like a guerrilla warfare, right? It was like asymmetrical warfare because I didn't have a ton of capital. I wasn't a big agency. I was just, hey, what are my strengths? Like a David and Goliath. Well, these are my strengths, then I need to leverage that. So I did, and I would just go work the car dealerships because I used to know car dealerships, and I would just bring them donuts and I would make friends with them. And little by little, that effort proved to bring back some return, which was positive.
Knowledge. Boom. That is really, man, this is good. It's just kind of sticking out to me, this just being relentless. I mean, you didn't allow anything to stop you. You say it was no other choices. There was only one bridge, and the bridge was burning behind you, and I can't go backwards. I got to keep going forward. I mean, that's what I'm seeing right here. You just pushing forward. Let's talk about the risk at this moment, because you said 2008, 2009. So around this time, let's talk about, I guess, like on the personal aspect. Were you married then? Do you have children then? I mean, what was this risk factor?
Oh my gosh.
Was it just you, or you had all these other things to think about?
You're going to love this because this adds to the fire. I had just proposed to my fiance, and her father approved me and said, yes, I want you to marry my daughter. I've been praying for you.
Oh, man.
This is before the actual 2008 happened.
Yeah.
And Jamie joined me, and everything was going smooth. Here I made these promises, and I have trust afforded to me. But then this goes the way it goes. Everything becomes topsy-turvy. So I pressed in on God. I said, Lord, you promised me this. And I think sometimes in our path, in our journey, we need to press in on God. We need to be bold and say, Lord, what's going on? You said all this, and I've shown up. Now, if you're confident because you have shown up, you can approach the Lord in that way. And I did. And God reassured me that, hey, I promised you something. I'm going to see it through, and I'm testing your faith. And I said, okay, well, then that's what it is, Lord. And here we go. So Jamie decided to quit her job at Starbucks and fully support me. So we did it together. And so what happened was the carriers loved who I was, because they would visit my agency, and they would give me, news and updates, and we built relationships. And they said, Kash, you've done so well. We're going to appoint you on your own outside of the franchisor. And so that's when 2009 hit. I took whatever I had in my savings, because I wasn't getting commissions even. We were living very, very low level. But we took that money, we opened a corporation, and we relaunched under Fadaie Insurance. And from that moment, Cedric, God gave us increase, and we just began to, little by little, expand. And we got through that setback, which then in retrospect seemed to be just another test that I had to endure. And we did. And through that, more value came, more experience came, which I needed for the trajectory beyond.
Jeez, man, This is good. I love it, Kash. I'm locked to this seat, man, but I just want to kind of get up. You're taking this to a whole nother level, man. I feel it, and it's really pressing my spirit even right now, man. This is so amazing.
I appreciate it.
For an individual, and after this, we're really going to get into, this amazing, I'm talking amazing. Listen, Lead to Greatness. Do not Pause. Do not get off now. Listen, it's about to get really good because we're about to get into this amazing vision that Cash has for the future of his organization. Before you do that, I just want to talk to that entrepreneur right now. Somebody, what are some practical things that a founder can do while, taking that risk or evaluating it or in embracing the opportunities that they have before them?
It's a beautiful question. There are many elements to this,
Mm,
but I'm going to go to the core
yeah.
first because when we go to the level of the sap,
Mm,
beyond the root of the tree, there's the sap level. I want to go to a more subatomic level to give you this best answer. What I've discovered in my humble experience of being an entrepreneur for 30 years now, in retrospect, is that during my 30 years, whenever I got closer to the kingdom of God, I would have answers downloaded
mm,
and I would be able to distinguish that inner voice.
yeah.
And in contrast, whenever I walked away from the kingdom of God,
Mm,
I discovered that I no longer was able to distinguish the voices anymore. There would
mm,
be more voices. There would be other voices who had interests of the self involved.
mm,
In other words, they were selfish endeavors
mm,
and downloads.
yeah.
But when I walked with God, had a prayer life, had humility, sought God,
Mm,
there would be clarity,
yeah.
there would be confidence. And so I would be able to consult because I was close, I was intimate.
Yeah.
I believe that's the core. I would like to first accredit all of that. I needed a consultant,
Mm, my
and
goodness.
so the nuances of every decision, everything that goes on into running a business, I needed that. And so I discovered that that is my foundation. And believe me, I've gone in and out of that.
Yeah.
But even the going out of the grace was necessary
Mm,
because that showed me the contrast and said,
yes,
hey,
sir.
you really want to be here?
Yes, sir.
It's up to you.
Yes,
No
sir.
judgment.
Yeah.
You want to go, it's your choice. You have free will.
Yeah.
And so I learned, oh no, this is the path I want. And this is the price I'm willing to pay for greatness. Now, what is that price? I'll tell you in closing. That price may be delayed gratification.
Mm,
That price may be self-sacrifice for a greater
mm,
good.
yeah.
That price may be patience and not always getting what you want immediately,
Yeah.
but being okay with less for a time being.
Mm,
Those were the prices that I was commanded
mm,
to pay in order for me to be built up to
mm.
become greatness. So that was the exchange. And I had to follow through, and I did. And so from that point, when that happened, I began to get instructions.
Mm, mm,
And then those instructions, they were gold because
mm.
all those instructions, when complied with
Yeah.
through faith, you comply to those instructions because you are clear on the voice that's coming through,
Mm,
began to manifest into a daily routine, dietary changes, handling temptations, handling sexual energy properly, relationships that are not needed anymore,
come
being
on.
able to say
Come on.
no, all these valuable nuggets. Yeah, it sounds like cliche, but it's when you hear it at the right time from the Lord and then you execute on it, that's when knowledge becomes wisdom. Knowledge has to be applied for it then to become manifest. That's kind of how it went on, Cedric.
Cash, knowledge, Bomb. Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Man, you're living it out. And that's exactly what you're saying. And man, I definitely love you for it, man. And I want to finish this conversation, but definitely before we get off, I want to share something with you because man, you're speaking to my life right now. And man, I'm telling you, I'm trying to contain myself here, man. But I'm like,
feeling it.
this feels like things that I've been dealing with in my life on what my wife and I are working on. And man,
Yeah.
you're
Amen.
speaking to me right now. And I know you're speaking to the Lead to Greatness community on that.
We can have future episodes, Lord willing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to talk about the franchise. So you want to franchise what you're doing right now. You want to franchise the organization. Let's talk a little bit about that and kind of like where you are with it. What's the process on when you're planning to franchise, or is it already like, man, you know what? I am ready. The trigger has been pulled. We're just looking for people. And let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, I took these past 18 years. I built a great agency by God's grace. We are highly profitable. There's 23, 24 of us right now. Jamie and I still run the business as CEO and CFO.
Mm.
And so we have proof of concept, Cedric. We took people without any experience, brought them in, and we proved to ourselves, to them, that these brand new agents who have no lick of experience with insurance can succeed. So we took about 5 people and we provided evidence for that. And we said, okay, it works. Our compensation plan works. The way we run things works. All the subtleties that we have, it works. So now what? What are we here to do? Well, we had to get clear on our ethos. And the ethos told us that, okay, what's your purpose? Your purpose is to develop and bring about greatness. Okay, where are you going to do that? Well, Lord, you placed me in this corporate America situation in the insurance industry. I want to bring light and love to this space. So this is how the franchising idea worked. I said, okay, well, I need to scale this company because it's working on a local level. How do we get this out to 1,000 other people and help them become entrepreneurs, even if they don't know insurance, never even done it or nothing?
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, we could do traditional way. We could just like hire folks. But the problem that was shown there, Cedric, is that if you bring somebody on and, you know, they're 1099 commission, there's a lack of skin in the game. And people have a lot of options. Like it wasn't like me when I had no option. These folks coming in, they have options. So they're not bringing all. So the process of getting 1,000 agents in that way would have been a little bit more inconsistent. But with the franchise model, the individual is coming in with skin in the game. They're coming in with a franchise fee. It's like, you know, wanting to buy a Subway.
Yeah.
You know, you're an investor-minded individual. And so you're saying, okay, I'm going to invest. You have a proven system. You know how to do sandwiches. Well, I'm going to expect an ROI. Great. And so that individual and their skin in the game mentality are the necessary fuel to make this really work well. Now, I did it with 5 agents, the traditional way, but in order to really scale and reach that demographic, we wanted to then look at franchising. And being that I came from a franchise that went, by the way, that franchise was discovered later that had been nefarious and they cooked the books. And so I owed it to myself and the franchise world to say, all right, I'm going to do a franchise. I'm going to do it the right way. And so that is how the whole franchising idea was birthed, Cedric. And so that's kind of where we are, because insurance is an incredible industry, which I'll tell more about why I think that. And,
Yes,
but most people don't know about it. Well, 3 reasons. Number one, it's truly recession proof. Regardless of what happens to the economy, inflation is high, inflation is low.
Still need insurance.
You can't part with it. It
Yeah.
runs the economy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even lenders, they use insurance.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
So true.
Number two, it's a true residual-based business, meaning if you onboard a client for their home insurance or auto insurance, each policy has a term limit, 6 months, 12 months. Well, if you do right by the client and you're accessible and you're providing great customer experience, that insured is going to renew with you. Well, when they renew their contract, another commission comes in. So if you have thousands of clients, there's commissions coming in all the time. So you have streams of income and you're diversified. So that's number two. And number three is people prioritize. It's not a luxury item. If you own your own home outright, it's an asset. You're going to want to insure it 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have leveraged and you have a loan on your house, you're still going to have insurance because the lender has an interest in that.
Yeah.
Your car, your business. What is it? What is it really? Overtly, we're selling insurance.
Yeah.
But covertly, what we're really doing is selling assurance. And that's what drew me to this business, Cedric, is I want to give people peace of mind about their financial legacy. So it was noble work. It was work that where people afforded me trust. I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
So that's what, made me really fall in love with this business. And that's why I believe this is a great business for anybody, whatever age you are, to look at this business, because you could do this business anywhere in the world because it's basically you can be mobile, you have that flexibility. So there's a lot of perks that come with insurance. So that's why I decided, hey, I want to proliferate this opportunity for many people.
Yeah. So what's the risk, or is there any?
For a brand new agent, their biggest risk is their time. It's because that's your most precious commodity, right? So if you have the most precious commodity, which is your capital, then it behooves one to say, where am I spending my time? Because that's my capital.
Yeah.
Am I going to spend it on assets, which will give me a return on my time? Or is it going to be on liabilities, which is going to just take my time away?
Yeah.
So we have to get clear on that. So what's the biggest risk? I'm always going to answer you truly. It's going to be your time. So then figure out, is this an asset investment of my time? Is there residual value? Is it recession proof? Does it cost me a lot to get into it monetarily? The answers are no, no, no. I mean, it's not expensive to get in. It is an asset. We already went over the 3 reasons why it's good. It's a great investment. There has to also be an understanding that you're an entrepreneur. So you have to find ways to be motivated. And that's going to require a spiritual practice, a physical routine, a way to handle and manage stress, dietary ways. These are all the things that I learned over the past 30 years. Okay. So this is the distilled version of it that I want to give to your audience, is that you could do all the right things, but if you don't show up because you're in pain, because you're making poor decisions in other areas, no matter what the opportunity is, it's going to falter. With the franchise that I offer, I don't just offer the franchise. I offer this right here. What I'm doing here with this, this podcast is I'm a coach.
What do they have to do to get started?
All they have to is very easy. It's a person has to have emotional intelligence, work ethic. We have to match the culture. That's easy to do. We just talk and find out. That's that. Now, monetarily, it's $50,000 franchise fee, but I have financing available. So it's not that hard. That's the most valuable part of the franchisee, is without that investment, then they have too many options and they don't have the grit. And you want to have skin in the game because you're going to want that ROI. I can get a return on their investment within 1 year to get that cash flow. So it's beautiful. I can get the cash flow. Yeah.
You said finance. So finance, that's really telling me you have the work ethics and you do your part, finance, to get you in the group. I mean, so it says a lot about you and how you feel about this and how strongly you feel about the cash flow in this. So this is so amazing.
Yeah, I'm confident about it. It's a new business. You're going to have some expenses.
Yeah.
The cool thing with this opportunity is you don't have to have a brick and mortar office.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a bunch of employees. You don't have to have any of that. You have very low overhead already. All you have to do is get into the franchise. We do the service work. We have the markets available. We have the technology and the CRM.
Crazy.
We have this. We have the support and training. We have it all. So that's what I'm excited about.
Crazy. This is amazing. What do the audience, someone thinking about this or considering this, what does that look like?
Simply email me, call me. My name is Fadaie, Fadaie. My website, you can Google me. Get in touch with me, and we'll have a heart-to-heart conversation. I can give more answers to questions.
Okay.
It's a matter of
email is a good way to get connected.
Yeah. Kash, Kash at FadaiEinsurance.com.
Okay, perfect. It's in the show notes right now. Matter of fact, it's showing up right on the screen right now. So go ahead and pause, write that down, and continue listening because this is amazing and this is super valuable to each and every one of us. What are some practical leadership growth tips, tools, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
I love it. Beautiful question. Knowledge in 2025 is ubiquitous, right? Knowledge is everywhere, right? You can go on various systems and you can eavesdrop on these amazing podcasts like this one right here with Cedric. However, knowledge is prevalent, but what's scarce is the application of that knowledge.
Yes, sir.
You see? So we can hear stuff, we can read stuff, and it's novel and it's great. But what I see happening with a lot of CEOs or leaders, the execution is missing, the action is missing. And so that's the area that I focus on, because what I've gotten really good at is to build the right habits and make those habits routine. In other words, bake those routines that work into my life, where at a certain stage of consistency, they are no longer items that one can go without. That's where you want to get to. Because when we are at this place where we're hitting our routines, our morning routine, our exercise routine, our dietary, all the things that we know to do that make us stronger and more creative and more dynamic and more joyous and more patient and more long-suffering and more balanced, that then, brothers and sisters, is what exudes out of our pores, out of our fibers, out of our being. And that is what our people really look at. It's about what we are vibrating on an authentic, yes, sir, on a genuine level. This is what we are, who we are. We are fearless. We are confident. We are loving. We are kind. We're heart-centered. And we're here to be kind but assertive, confident, executive. And here we are. We're demonstrating. We're leading to righteousness. So we always have to go back to the core. Are we right in the areas that we have promised to ourselves that we're going to then read this stuff, but then apply it into our own lives, embody it, then light up the world, light up our agency, light up our companies, light up our relationships, our spouse. How are we doing really in our relationships? Because the KPI of your company, key performance indicator, is how we are with our spouse. When we're good with our spouse, it's going to show up in our business.
Yes.
If we're good with this relationship, it's going to show up right here.
Yes.
So this interconnectedness from the onset seems, I don't believe that, Kash. But a closer look and observation, in my humble experience, shows that no, sir, no, ma'am. It is directly proportional to our trajectory. So that would be my
cash knowledge. This is so amazing, man. I feel like I've been in service, and I'm telling you, I'm full right now. What is, maybe there's a question that I didn't ask you. Say, Cedric, I wish you would ask this. I wish you would ask that. The last minute words that I didn't get an opportunity to share with you. Go ahead and share.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing to piggyback off of this last statement, because a lot of audience members now are going to say, well, that's great, but how, Kash? How? How did you build that consistency? And how did you end up executing on the things that you had read and listened? And so in closing, I want to say, okay, get around the right people. If we want to fly and get to that goal, and we're crystal clear on what our vision is, we have to make hard decisions. And we may have to cut away certain relationships that no longer serve us anymore. Now, listen, brethren, this is a lesson that took me a long time, because I grew up being a people pleaser because of my childhood, and I would make mistakes in this area. And I've learned through the course of time, by God's grace, that it's important that, as we are talking right now, Cedric and I, and we're finding that the Holy Spirit is ministering to us, these should be your circles. You have to be in an area of your sphere of influence, should be people who edify you, who have grace on you, who are also willing to rebuke you when needed.
Amen.
You want authenticity in your circle. And so I would say that to build consistency, besides taking action, you got to be around the right people to motivate, edify, inspire, and do it together and help each other, because otherwise there's too many distractions and temptations. And unfortunately, that seed will then be swooped away. But we need to give that seed the opportunity in the right soil to germinate and to sprout and to eventually become a tree that will bear fruit onto the earth, so that we can live and leave a magnificent legacy of greatness. So that's the parting words I wanted to just impart to your beautiful audience and yourself, Cedric.
Knowledge bomb. Kash, this is so amazing. And we didn't even mention, but I'm here in Houston. Kash is up in the Woodlands for listeners from Houston. Yeah. So, and I wrote something down. I wrote, relationship is out of service. It's not serving you anymore. It's out of service. So it's definitely, you are God sent, man. You are God ordained, and God has used you today on this interview. This connection today is divine, and you have blessed me on today.
Amen.
If someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Just go to Google, type in F like Frank, Adaie, insurance. I will come up. You will see my website. You can send me a email. You can call me. You can chat with me on my website, and I will be at service. And just again, to say what Cedric said, God is a verb. It's about service to others. If you want to make a fortune, you have to serve more people. It's not about selfishness. It's about selflessness. So Amen. I'm a servant of the Most High, and I'm grateful to be with y'all.
Yeah, stop it, man. You got me. I'm about to lose my mind up in here, man. Thank you. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much, Kash, for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
My honor to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.